This isn't just, forgive me, Father, it's been a week or 2 weeks or 3 months or 4 months or 5 years. Or 5 years might be approaching it. I don't know, but mine had been since I was like 13. So,
Wow.
6 years at least, or something like that at that point. The priest laid his hands on me, prayed over me. It was absolutely beautiful. At the Easter Vigil, when I went to communion for the first time and then walked up, my daughter, when I came back to the pew to sit down and kneel, she said, "Daddy, why does God give you that medicine?" I'm not
Wow.
sure. I was like totally blown away.
I'm Nick Clune, and you're listening to the Hey Brother podcast. Join me and my brother Mitch as we challenge each other and other Catholic men to grow deeper in brotherhood, strengthen our faith, and find greater freedom. Hit the subscribe button and join us on this journey. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hey Brother podcast. Today I'm joined by guest Timothy Barton, founder of YOUtopia Development, coach and consultant as well. Good to have you here, Timothy. Can you tell me how your day's been going?
Well, my day's been going pretty good. Just a beautiful day here in Pittsburgh. Starting to feel a little closer to fall-like, but still beautiful sun. And the fact that we have sun at all in Pittsburgh is pretty miraculous. We have more overcast days than Seattle, so.
Yeah, oh really? I didn't realize that. That's interesting. You guys like ring the church bells when there's a sunny day and like rejoice like in the miracle that is the sun?
Well, Alleluia is our battle cry all the time, so. As a church and as a community at large. So
that's cool. And you were telling me about this a little bit before we started recording. That clock in the background, that grandfather clock's a nice clock, but it's not yours. Where are you at right now?
I'm in the local community library here in the neighborhood that I live in. They've given me free reign for the conference room when it's not being in use. Just as like kind of, I mean, I do give a donation kind of thing, but it's more like by donation. It's not like I'm paying a lease or something like that. So, but it's a very nice conference room here.
That's super nice. It's awesome. Like, I don't know. It's fun to do these interviews, and sometimes I'm in person with people. A lot of times, like if it's guests, I'm online like this, and people have all different setups, and it's cool to catch you here in the public library. It's generous that they get to do that. And it's cool to connect it with you in general too, because I think it was just by happenstance through LinkedIn that we started talking, and maybe a month ago we actually connected over a Zoom call, or maybe longer than that. I'm not quite sure at this point, but it was fascinating to get know your story then, and I'm excited for people to get to know you on this podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about your story, about who you are and what you're passionate about?
Well, I'm a sinner, beloved by God. I mean, that's a kind of a simple way of describing that, even though it's a very complex experience. I always say I'm a man who is seeking piety, but stumbles along the way. I mean, I'm a husband of 20 years almost, coming up on 20 years. A father. My oldest daughter's 30. My youngest is 12, getting ready to be 13. So, and I'm just a man who, as I say, strives to be holy and for holiness, but stumbles along the way. And I do that with other men. I mean, both professionally and personally and every which way. I'm all about it.
Has that been the case like your whole life? Have you always been like, I'm going to strive for holiness, like kind of a go-getting mentality? What's that been like?
Well, in my youth, as a young boy, I was an altar boy, and I was a Boy Scout and everything. And the biggest downfall for scouts is the fumes, perfume and petroleum, cars and girls.
Yeah.
And I got both of those, and there went my Eagle Scout. Instead of an Eagle Scout badge, I got what I call an Ashley badge, which is my oldest daughter's name. So.
An Ashley badge. Oh, there you
go. So in my youth, I was fine. When I got about 14, I would say thereabouts, I was off to the races. My rebellion had begun, and
interesting,
and absolutely continued through high school and my adolescence. Started probably when I was 12. So
Started when you were 12. Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what does that mean? Like, my rebellion had already begun by the age of 14. That's
No.
like, to me, like, I'm like, if I hadn't known your story just a little bit, like, but, we talked a month ago, and I was just encountering you for the first time, it would surprise me. I'd be like, what? No, like, Timothy's never gone through a rebellion phase. Like, just by the way you carry yourself, your demeanor and whatnot, like, it's like, that doesn't check out to me. But I do know your story a little bit. So take me into that. What do you mean by the rebellion?
Well, I mean, at 12, I had some girlfriends, friends who were girls, a friend and her cousin, and another girlfriend who I used to always complain about them smoking cigarettes. And I say, I'm going to tell your parents, I mean, and everything like that. And the girls pulled together and came up with a way to keep Tim quiet. They were going to convince me to smoke, but they were very clever about it. I mean, they used peer pressure that was, I would say, irresistible. I mean, at least for a 12-year-old boy, at least for this guy when he was a 12-year-old boy, they told me if I could learn to inhale, they would kiss me.
Oh, interesting.
So that's at 12. So
yeah.
That was the beginning, and it not peaked. I wish I could say that was peak, but it continued upward until right before my freshman year of high school. I was smoking some weed, and I ended up going steady with my best friend's cousin, and basically we had pal around since we were kids, so it's not like we were strangers. And she had some experiences beyond me. I mean, at that point, and gave some peer pressure towards that. Yeah. I mean, I'd gone to a National Catholic Youth Conference when I was like 13 in Indianapolis.
So you grew up Catholic?
Yeah, I was brought up Catholic.
Yeah,
for the most part. I mean, my mother was Catholic. My dad was multi-religious and kind of different. Okay. But my mom was Catholic, and she was a psychologist and a spiritual director. I mean, so she was. Okay. I'd say at this point, I could say it with joy, she was hardcore. I mean,
yeah.
her spiritual direction was all about the spiritual exercise of St. Ignatius of Loyola. So, since I was knee high to a grasshopper, she planted seeds of Ignatian spirituality in me and in my heart. And
that's awesome.
So forth, which I've seen fruits from now. I mean, it is beautiful, and I'm humbled by it. Actually, it's such a great gift my little mommy gave me. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, not many people get that treasure of receiving some integration of psychology and spiritual formation from their parents. But Ignatian's really good. Like, guys just got, like, I was like literally I did another interview this morning, and for those listeners, you guys will probably catch that interview here in a minute. But we were talking about that, like the interior formation, even like realizing like, oh, there's an interior life. That's a huge thing, a huge development in somebody's life. I interrupted you though. You said you went to the Catholic Summer Youth Camp, or not youth camp.
It was a Catholic National Conference. It was before PJP2 got involved. There was one in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah.
To this National Youth Conference. I met Tony Melendez. He's a guy who plays guitar with his feet. I mean,
oh, wow.
I mean, very inspiring. Very, very.
Absolutely.
I came back from that thinking, okay, I'm going to be chaste till marriage. I want to do this. I came back to my home church. We didn't even have a youth ministry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got the.
How old were you? Were you when this happened?
I was about 13.
13. Okay, gotcha. So this was all happening right around the same time. The peer pressure, the smoking, the weed, and then the Catholic Youth Conference.
The Catholic Youth Conference was before the weed thing, but it was after being peer pressured to smoke by these three pretty friends of mine. So
right. Yeah.
And so I was ready to just live this Catholic life. I mean, I was on fire. And I came back, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, my home parish, we didn't even, as I say, have a youth ministry. I'd gone with another youth group at a neighboring parish and a few communities over, to this National Catholic Youth Conference. I don't know how I even found it, actually. I'm wondering if my mom found it. I don't even know to this day how I got plugged into that, other than the Holy Spirit and maybe my mom too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah. Moms have a way of collaborating with the Spirit sometimes that is beyond our understanding, right? They just do it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, as I say, by 14, I started smoking weed. And I mean, the fire had long been fizzled out most of the way. I mean, there may have been some cools,
Okay.
but I began smoking weed. I gave away my virginity to my high school sweetheart. She's also was the mother of my oldest daughter. So, I mean, I can't say it's all bad because it isn't.
Sure.
I mean, my oldest daughter was my high school graduation present.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was born 3 weeks before I graduated from high school. So,
Wow.
um,
It's a blessing now that you can see clearly. I'm sure in the moment that must have been hard,
frightening. I mean, absolutely
frightening.
frightening. I
Yeah.
mean, at 17 years old, I was at boarding school at the time, and I went to the boarding
Oh wow.
school thinking I have a baby on the way and a girlfriend I've been with since I was like 12. I mean,
Yeah.
I said, well, at least I can figure out what I'm doing. And I came home from boarding school, and it was during a weekend break that I found out we were pregnant. I went back to the boarding school and told everybody who had ears to hear, I'm going to be a father. I was excited and
Yeah.
scared out of my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
so, and instead of the school wrapping their arms around me saying, hey, Tim, this isn't the end of the world. This is actually the beginning of life. And good, this doesn't mean it's the end. You can make it through this.
Yeah.
They threw me out.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'd been in the heat of my rebellion before the boarding school. I got sent to the boarding school my senior year of high school. So, because of my,
Was that a reaction? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you
yeah.
might have been going into that, a reaction because of the rebellion, or
Yeah, my dad sent me to a boarding school my senior year because he was tired of my shenanigans, to quote him exactly.
okay.
That was minor. I mean, it was much. The shenanigans doesn't even begin. I mean,
Sure.
I was at the time in high school practicing transcendental meditation and smoking as much weed as
Oh
I could
wow.
get my hands on. I was all about altering my states of consciousness. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
that's where I was, and I mean, it was a strange, what a strange trip it was. I mean,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe it. It was like it was bizarre looking back because
Yeah.
even me looking back, I'm like, was that real? I mean, it was
Yeah.
so far out there.
hmm
And then, as I said, becoming a father, and then coming back, and my girlfriend had moved in with one of my buddies,
Yeah. Wow.
and I put buddies in air quotes there.
Yeah.
He was my best drug dealer. I mean, he was
Yeah.
my buddy who I could get good weed off of. I mean,
Yeah.
and so I was crushed because I told her,
Absolutely.
look, it's either him or me. You need to choose. I
Yeah.
don't do this polyamory thing. It's up to you. You need to pick. And she picked him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oof.
brutal. I was such a puddle. Here
Yeah.
I am, 18,
Understandable.
thrown out of boarding school, don't have a girlfriend all of a sudden either, and just a puddle of a man, a young man. I mean, I was
Yeah.
only 18, but still, I'm still just entering manhood here, 17, 18. And I just didn't know where my world was going to go.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. All of that. That's more than hard. Yeah.
It was brutal. I mean, it really was. I didn't clean up my act or anything like rapidly, I would say. I
Yeah.
mean, I met my daughter after finishing up high school out in Portland, Oregon, in a community
Okay.
college out there. I'm here from Pittsburgh. My brother lived
Hmm.
out in Portland. He was my godfather and said, Timmy, come out here. Um,
Yeah.
he knew I didn't know what to do with myself, and he thought he'd tell my mom, look, I'll take care of him and stuff. And he
Hmm.
did. He got me to a place where I could finish up high school, and I
Okay.
actually graduated with summa cum laude from the community
Oh
college
wow.
out there, um, which, I mean, I don't know. I took 20 credits my final semester out of
Yeah.
Portland Community College, and I graduated with 3.35.
Yeah.
Which my mom, who was not the sarcastic type at all, sent me a card in the mail, said, "Take your diploma and run. They're double checking your grades." I mean, I mean, my
Yeah.
mom was as shocked as out, and everybody else. I mean,
Wow. That's awesome. And so I love that background, like where you came from, and like even now, like you're like, wow, was that even real? Like there's almost a disassociation there of like, what did I go through? When did like the faith become real for you? Like was there a moment or time where like all of a sudden like things clicked? I mean, obviously becoming a dad like that shakes stuff up, but like,
oh, no doubt.
uh, yeah, was there like a concrete moment where faith became real?
Oh, geez. Um, well, I take my daughter to mass on Sundays, even though I wouldn't go up to communion. I
Okay.
wasn't practicing. I was doing it for her. I wanted her to have. I knew there was something there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of still out in that haze of my existence, looking for the mystical, but missing it when it's right in front of me because it's in the ordinary. And
Mm.
so I take her to mass on Sundays, and finally, right before the Easter Vigil coming up, I decided to do a general life confession,
Okay.
and
Well.
I went up to
Like
communion.
that, can you like explain what that is for
Sure.
people who don't know that,
A,
like audience wise?
a general life confession is basically you schedule a time to go to confession with a priest, but you let them know this is going to be a general life confession. This isn't just like, forgive me, Father, it's been a week or 2 weeks or 3 months or 4 months or 5 years. Or, I mean, 5 years might be approaching it. I don't know. There's not a demarcation of when it
Yeah.
could be from, but mine had been since I was like 13.
Well.
So 6 years at least, or something like that
Yeah.
at that point. Um, and so I went did this general life confession. The priest, we said some special prayers, and priest laid his hands on me, prayed over me. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. Um,
Yeah.
it's not like at that moment though I was like, oh, all was great. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I can go to communion. And that first at the Easter Vigil when I went to communion for the first time and walked up, um, my daughter, when I came back to the pew to sit down and kneel, she said, "Daddy, why does God give you that medicine?"
Yeah.
I was like, I, I'm not sure.
Wow.
I was like,
From the mouth of babes.
yeah. I was like totally blown away. Um, she before that, before I did the general life confession, as she was learning to walk, she crawled over to a table in my room, which I still had some artifacts in my room, like religious kind of artifacts.
Okay.
And I had these praying hands made of wood, like on a table over in the corner of my bedroom. I mean, from just I never didn't redecorate or anything too much, other than the graffiti on the walls. But that's different. My mom somehow let me do graffiti in the walls of her house. I still to this day I don't understand why she let that happen. I think
Yeah.
she was just glad I was in the house, not running amok. Um, but so she crawled over to this table, grabbed these praying
Hmm.
hands, and handed them to me when she was about like 1.5.
Wow. Yeah.
And later on, in the springtime, we were outside. We'd play in the backyard of my mom's house. There was a big backyard
Mm.
there, and even some woods. But we played in the big backyard, and she picked a little flower. It was a little purple flower, and she handed it to me. The flower is called a forget
Mm.
me not.
Yeah.
And I remember these so well because I've pondered them in my heart,
Yeah.
unlike Mary did with Jesus. These things nourished my heart and planted seeds in my soul that to this day, I can't explain why she would give me a little flower called a forget me not and give me praying hands to say, pray. When she walked, that was her first steps. Had she made her first steps with her mother, they would have rubbed it in my face. I know them.
Yeah.
I mean, those were her first steps.
Hmm.
And so never would I have ever imagined. You asked when my faith became real. I mean, these little things, yeah, but I wasn't there. I wasn't aware like I am now in retrospect, looking back. Hindsight is 2020.
Absolutely.
But it became real when I was in college. And I was still kind of in the mix of smoking weed and transcendental meditation, now going to communion sometimes and like on a Sunday. But a custody battle happened for my daughter. She was 3 at the time.
Wow.
I reached out to try to find legal counsel. I could not find a lawyer to represent me anywhere in the tri-state region, meaning Ohio, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia. And one of them told me the nicest thing I heard, I would say, was, don't waste your student loans of your time. She's a guy, you're a little girl. Don't waste your student loans of your time. You live at your mom's house, you're a college kid.
Yeah.
I said, I have to try. So I did it pro se, meaning I represented myself.
Wow.
That's a 21-year-old college kid. And I looked to heaven and I said, God, if you exist, not that God hadn't made himself manifest multiple times in great and small ways, but I was still full of ego, hugely. I said, God, if you exist, do it your way. If I do it mine, I'm going to screw it up. And there's a little humility to that prayer. As I said, a whole lot of ego, but a little bit of humility.
Yeah. That's all he needs. He just needs a little bit to work with, right?
That mustard seed size. I mean, it was probably smaller than that, but because my ego is too big. I mean, way too big. So a year and a half almost went by, and I won full legal and physical custody of my daughter.
Wow.
In Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, PA. It's unheard of then for sure. It's even still unheard of now, I think, sadly. Yeah. And so I went from
what a gift.
Fun weekend dad to a sole custodial single dad, college kid. And I just thought, oh my God, truth might just exist. And I didn't just think it. I shouted it out to the cosmos.
Yeah.
To this God who had just manifested himself in big, huge ways. And I said, truth might just exist. And I heard an answer. And that answer echoed and reverberated through my entire being. It wasn't audible. I wasn't smoking peyote or doing any kind of weird hallucinogenic substances. I didn't do a sweat lodge in peyote. I mean, at that moment. But I mean, so you don't smoke peyote, by the way. I just have to put that out there. That's not a thing. I'm just making fun of my own self and my own drug use in the past. So.
Sure.
Because it's hard to be vulnerable like this. I have to say, I mean, this is hard.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing vulnerably. It's fascinating stuff, and it's deep.
And so the only prayer I could pray through the custody battle at all was one prayer. And it was, Mary, my mother, my confidence. I found a little prayer card or whatever that had embroidery around it at a church festival that said that. I didn't know. I mean, I'd done the transcendental meditation stuff, the discursive meditation, which is empty your mind of all things and all that stuff. But I didn't really feel I knew how to pray other than like maybe some rote things that I learned, which I'm not knocking rote prayer. Rote prayer is beautiful now. I mean, from the heart, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's still beautiful. And God, I think, definitely honors that. So I said this prayer, Mary, my mother, my confidence, throughout the custody battle. And Mary did what she does. She took me to her son.
Yeah.
That's what Mary does. It's what she did at the wedding in Cana. When people came seeking a miracle, they didn't go directly to Jesus. He was there with his disciples. They could have. But they went to his mother, and said, we ran out of wine. So they went with Mary to Jesus and said, they ran out of wine.
Yeah.
And he performed his first miracle in spite of the fact, it seems like, in spite of himself. not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so like you're seeing this how this like interacts with you and you're in this example of your life, like or real life, like not even example but experience where Mary's like, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna bring you to Jesus. I'm gonna like was that like an actual something like visual prayer like moment where like she's bringing you to Jesus? Was that like all of a sudden you felt like this consolation connection to our Lord? Like what was that like? And
she brought me to this adoration chapel we had here in
okay,
Pittsburgh. It was called the Burning Bush House of Prayer.
wow,
Um,
that's a wild name.
and the monstrance is the coolest monstrance I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I wish I could share it on screen here. I mean, I'll see if
yeah,
I can find it. I mean, I'm more than willing to share it with
yeah.
people. It's a
If you show me a picture, I might be able to throw it up and post
yeah,
on the screen. But
that'd
yeah,
be great.
yeah.
I mean, it is the coolest monsters I've ever seen. I used to take my daughter there for her first communion prep. We'd call it
Mm,
hanging out with Jesus. Sometimes we'd
yeah,
sing to him. Sometimes we'd just
that's
sit
awesome.
with him and hang out. I mean, and so she brought me to her son.
Yeah.
I started scheduling my classes. I took 6 years to get my bachelor's degree. I had a 6 year plan anyhow, but I had 6 years. It ended up being a real 6 years.
Yeah.
And I would schedule my classes around Mass. I'd call it my lunch date with God.
Mm,
I have such a hungering to be a daily communicant. I don't do it. I have to confess, but I have such
yeah.
a hungering for it. And it's really not about being holier than thou or anything like that. It's about I'm weaker than most.
Yeah.
I know I need that nourishment. I come up an
Mm,
empty-handed beggar before him, and he
yeah.
feeds me. My daughters will even tell you when she was little, sometimes my daddy even would stick out his tongue at the priest. So, I mean, the communion. I mean,
That's awesome. What true words though? Like it's convicting my heart right now. Just you saying it, like yeah, being a daily communicant. Like what poverty there is that we have that He fills, and in that, and it's so divine and uh, gratuitous. Like His grace and His love for us in those moments, and
oh my, oh my. But
yeah,
I mean, it just, so I mean, my faith journey wasn't that quick. I mean, I
sure,
tried a lot of things. And so I have to admit that there were like in between there, I was going to a professor of mine asking questions. He was a philosophy professor at Duquesne University. Getting,
okay,
I found out later he was going for two PhDs, one in philosophy, one in theology.
wow,
And he was I didn't know at the time when I was questioning him. He was a Nigerian priest named Father
oh,
Pacomius.
okay, wow,
I had no idea, and he was a Benedictine.
okay,
So I mean, he would assign me readings, a lot of Augustine, a whole lot of
yeah,
Augustine. On the feast of Saint Augustine, I have to
yeah, today,
bring
yeah,
back
you gotta
there.
give Him props.
I didn't plan that actually. That just came. Like, I have to share. Saint Augustine's one of my
Yeah,
favorite saints.
yeah,
He's one of my
it's a good one.
BFFs. I mean,
Yeah,
to use the
that's
language of
good.
the kid.
Yeah, because I mean that's like so we can maybe even steer into that. You're very philosophically psychology like minded. Like I gathered that from our first conversation, and that takes its roots well, like in just growing up in the family that you grew up in and the genes that you were passed along. But like here, like this priest playing an integral role in that, like maybe like take me into that like intellectual pursuit a little bit and what that's been like, and then I also want to hear if you can tie in like what's brotherhood look like in the midst of that too. But I don't know if that might be too much to try to tie together. But
That'd be a lot to tie. I can do a small segment on brotherhood.
yeah,
Pacomius, I'd ask him questions, philosophical questions, not looking for religion too much at the time. I still wasn't like all in. I mean, I was in, but I was like punching my ticket,
sure,
much of the time. There were little glimpses here and there in between that kind of amplified things, but I still was just thinking I'm just punching the ticket type thing. Um, so um, as time went on, I realized it was spiritual direction he was giving me.
yeah,
he also became my confessor, which I would see on the regular basis, What a source of grace, that sacrament that I loathe and love. And yes, I said I loathe sacramental confession beforehand.
Yeah.
Afterward, I kind of can revel in it and be like, oh, God is so
good. Yeah.
Examination of conscience is hard.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I'll bring brotherhood. I'm wearing a shirt. It says Emmaus. I belong to a men's retreat ministry here in Pittsburgh called Emmaus.
Okay.
We put on a number of retreats a year. I've been involved with these guys since 2007. 2 years, 3 years after I got, 2 years after I got married. My brother was on a retreat team, and he said, "Tim, you're coming on retreat." I said, "With you?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "I can't afford it." He said, "I'll pay for you." He lied. He got me a scholarship. But he's like, "I'm on a team." And I'm like, okay. So I got together with these Emmaus guys. I went on this retreat, and I went into it with the mentality that I was trying to swim upstream. I'm not saying everyone else was on the sidelines only, but I mean, I felt like everyone was on the sidelines laughing at me at best. At worst, trying to trip me up.
Interesting.
Ego was still pretty alive and well in Tim.
Yeah.
2007.
Was that like an interior experience, or is that something that you like look back and like that was happening on the outside, or both?
Both. I mean, I'd been fired from my first job out of college for saying a prayer with somebody.
Okay.
I didn't realize the magnitude of the spiritual battle going on out there. I do now. My eyes are wide open. I wear it as a badge of honor too at this point, not as a sign of embarrassment. But at the time, it was hard because I was a newlywed, blending a family, and just trying to provide something towards my family. And so it was pretty hard. This is mildly stated. I mean, it was brutal, just like other things. I mean, life is hard.
Yeah.
And so what's amazing about these group of guys at Emmaus is they're all striving in the same direction. And they're actually, I like to make the joke, we all pride ourselves in our humility.
Yeah.
That's how bad we've got it. The pride, not the humility. But to be real, I mean, we are striving towards it. We're working towards it. We're holding each other accountable to it. We talk about a prayer that is, I love and I loathe. I'm attracted to and repulsed by it. The litany of humility.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That prayer is hard. That's hard.
When I first found that prayer out, I thought, give me the grace to want that. I want that. I mean, now at this point in my life, I can pray parts of it.
Sure.
Parts of it I can say, yeah, I'm in on that. Yeah. Other parts I'm still like, I don't know if I want to be in on that. I mean, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, and horrible prayer. I mean, I don't mean horrible in I don't want to discount it. It's horribly hard. So counter ego. Absolutely. I introduced that prayer to my daughter when she was 9. She's turning 13. And she read through that prayer. She said, "No way, Daddy." She said, "That person who wrote that must be crazy." It rubbed her ego as a 9-year-old. So, I mean.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought, wow. I didn't expect that.
So,
it rubs mine the same way. I'm not very different.
Right. Yeah. we all can react like 9-year-olds to the humility prayer, or litany of humility.
So, I mean, so that's where brotherhood has come in. I mean, I've been hanging around these guys in the Catholic Men's Fellowship in Pittsburgh since 2007.
Yeah.
They can't get rid of me, I always tell people. Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to, they're stuck with me. I'm hanging around. I need that iron to sharpen iron. I mean, that's what I think about the brotherhood. I mean, I need it.
It's invaluable, really. Like, I think, like, what you're saying, like, it's amazing that you found that. And, like, it's something that I always encourage guys in this podcast, like, to like go out there and like look for that. Like, where can you find brotherhood? And it, start with one. If you can't find a group, like one guy. And like what you're saying, it's so much easier to challenge each other in growth of humility than it is just to try to be humble, right? Other than it is just to try to do it by myself. It's like, no, like I've got other brothers here pushing me, and like that we need that. We need that as men to actually like actualize like our full potential in life, or actualize our sainthood, right? Like to actually become who it is that God's calling us to be. What's like, so you guys meet regularly? Is that like?
Well, we have the retreat ministry,
the
which
retreat?
is
Okay.
the Emmaus retreat. Then we have a group called the Road from Emmaus.
Okay.
Which there are multiple of those throughout the city here. You can do them virtually, some of them you can do in person. I mean, like you were saying, we need that accountability. And I mean, accountability is overused nowadays, the word, and not
Sure.
often done. And that's why
Yeah.
I started YOUtopia Development, because I've seen guys want to keep each other accountable, but they also want to be liked by each other.
Yeah.
And somebody has to be a pest. I'm good at that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
friendly pest about it, but I will actually challenge you. I mean, I'm not going to just
Mm-hmm.
be friendly and wash over things. I mean, I'm going to hold
Yeah.
your feet to the fire, not in a like mean spirited way, but saying, "Hey, you can do better, brother." I mean,
Yeah.
and so that's part of why I started YOUtopia Development, was because I
Yeah.
saw in all these men's ministries. I mean, it's like the term mindfulness. Everybody hears
Mm.
the term mindfulness. How
Yeah.
many people actually do it?
Yeah.
Not me always. I mean, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I've created a thing called the sacrament of the present moment, which I stole off of one of the saints, and I can't remember which
Yeah.
one, so I can't footnote it. But
Yeah.
so
It's like all knowledge, right? It's like we're stealing from people who are smarter than us and holier than us, right?
definitely, and hopefully
Yeah.
I don't think they think of it as stealing. They're part of the cloud of
Sure.
witnesses and the
Yeah.
communion of saints, and so are we. And they're just wanting to wrap their arms around us. I'd like to know, not just so I could footnote it, but so I can like pray to this person who came up with this
Yeah.
idea and say, "Hey, intercede for me to really live this, not
Yeah.
just speak it. Intercede
Mm.
for me to really live these prayers." I mean, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. I mean, wonderful exercises. If you don't do the exercises, they're doings, not beings. We are human
Yeah.
beings, but to do is to be, and to be is
Mm.
to do. So, I mean, we really need to kind of get that in a certain space.
Can
Um,
you unpack that a little bit?
oh, geez. Well, in 2001, I prayed to the Holy Spirit, asking the Holy Spirit to please douse me in spiritual gasoline, light me a fire, negate my fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the Holy Spirit did? I told you it took till 2007 when I got together with these Emmaus guys. But I did do a retreat with the Miles Christi priests before that, which was a
Okay.
spiritual exercises retreat by this Ignatian group out of South America. They're not Jesuits, but they were founded by a Jesuit. Um,
Okay.
so, but that's where I first found the Litany of Humility prayer. So the Lord introduced me in around 2005 after I prayed that prayer in 2001 to the Litany of
Mm.
Humility, which has a whole litany of fears to
Yeah.
pray to be delivered from. Deliver me, O Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So I prayed that prayer. I had to do some things. I had to go to this Miles Christi retreat, which was the Miles Christi's. Miles is the Latin word where we get the term military, and Christi is Christ.
Okay.
We're soldiers of Christ, and I love that. I totally,
Yeah.
I'm trying to steal that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to steal because I love it. I mean, I eat that up. That's just beautiful. Yeah. And that, and with the Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam of the Jesuits, or
Okay.
the Ignatian kind of axiom of to and for the greater glory of God. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to do with YOUtopia Development. I'd like to create, I mean, there's the Militia Immaculata for Mary. I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to try to get a group of guys to come together, and so we can grow together in flourishing and authentic masculine virtue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm capturing what you're saying, like as far as like we can't like there's this call to action that we need to respond to as men. We can't just like expect our lives to change. We have to actually go do something. But at the same time, like so much of who we are is like ingrained in us. It's like this discovery process of like God's already got it. Like he already sees us as the saint that he wants us to be, right? And it's like, how do we actually become that? It's like by learning how to be, right? How to actually be like, and we're bad at that. We're so bad at like just being like Nick. Like I'm really bad at that. I'm not good at like just being myself. And there needs to be action in order for me to get better at just being myself, just being who it is that God's created me to be. And it feels a little paradoxical, right? Like, what do you like? You need to do something so you could just be something, like, or do you do something because you are something, like, and like it's a little bit of both, right?
Well, it's the idea of motivation, Nick. I'm sure you've heard this. We don't wait to be motivated to do something. They realized that to be motivated, you don't wait to be motivated to do something. You do something and then you're motivated after. You're motivated by the doing. So, I mean, I think they've captured this. I don't remember who or where I heard this, but it rung true to me about how I gave up perfectionism. I had to first, before I did anything to get rid of my perfectionism, I had to tease apart my fears of failure and my fears of success.
Yeah.
And in between those fears of failure and fears of success was where the perfectionism was the glue holding them together.
Yeah.
So as I pulled those apart a little, I could see it a little more. What I had to do is kind of like, almost like surgically remove that perfectionism with a scalpel.
Yeah.
And not just leave it empty, but in its place, pursuit of excellence. And by pursuing excellence, the perfectionism wasn't able to creep back into that space.
Yeah.
And it actually illuminated some of my fears of failure and some of my fears of success, enough to the point where I'm not saying I don't still have them. I do. I still struggle with those. I've struggled with those since I was a child. I remember talking to my mother about this as a fourth grader. I mean,
yeah.
So I still have those same kind of fears. They're different now.
Yeah.
I relate to them differently now.
Yeah.
I shine the light of Christ all over them now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like if you don't actually do that work to actually go in there with a scalpel, metaphorical scalpel, physical if there's a different physical element, but metaphorical here in the sense that like, there are areas where we've been hurt and like for me it's always like this covering over of who God's created us to be, like these wounds that we encounter. And like it's not even the wounds themselves that is the covering. It's the defenses that we put up that covers it, right? Like it's the perfectionism, it's the overanalyzing, it's the
paralysis of analysis. I get it.
What's that? Paralysis
of analysis.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it's what we do, like, or even like YouTube use. Like, it's easier to go to YouTube and like go to their defense than to live with the pains and wounds that I might be experiencing. But it's actually like living in that we are like the gift that God wants us to be to the world. And I'm grateful for the work that you've done on yourself to like be a gift here on this podcast. I know you're still a work in progress, as we all are, but it's good to encounter you as Timothy and like just to be able to see you share vulnerably, like, here's the stuff that's happened in my life, here's the way the Lord's worked in it, and it's awesome. Like, and I'm grateful for your witness in that. And I want to kind of leave the audience, folks who are listening right now, with one, like, I always want to welcome comments. So people, like, what's sticking out to you from Timothy's story? I don't know. I keep bouncing back before Tim and Timothy in my mind on what I should be calling you.
I've answered the worst, Nick. I've answered the worst.
What's that?
I used to teach kids thrown out of inner city schools. I answered to a lot worse than Tim or Timothy, I promise. So Timothy is all good.
Yeah. So like, comment on below like what's standing out to you with Timothy's story, and then what I want you to offer is like, what if there's one thing that you could offer men out there listening, like a word of encouragement, and then how they could connect with you in the work that you're doing. I would love to kind of wrap things up with that.
I mean, as it says in Hebrews, encourage each other daily while it is still today. And my encouragement is this. I talked to Nick before we started about this a little, and I think this is an insight the Lord has given me recently. The lone wolf and the lone soldier are myths, and they're meant to hold you back. They're meant to hold you down. They're meant to make you impotent and powerless. You are not powerless. It's not that we're afraid of how powerless we are, because we do have some weaknesses, all of us. But I think our deepest fear as men is how powerful we really are.
Yeah.
All of creation is groaning in waitful expectation that we would come to know who we really are. And Jesus knows who we really are, and he's calling us by name.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I thank you for sharing that. It gives me goosebumps thinking about that. And I welcome men to sit with those words of encouragement, to like really take to heart, like, what is it that you are afraid of? Like, are you afraid of the greatness that the Lord is calling you to? And not in a prideful sense, but like there's a mission he has for you, and not just for you alone, for your loved ones, for your wives, for your children, for the people in your community. And so like, I would love for men who are listening to take that to heart and be encouraged by that and be challenged by that to, what is it that involves taking the next step in order to fully step into who God's calling you to be. So Timothy, thank you so much for being here. How can people connect with you in your work?
Well, my website is YOUtopia with a YOU, because it's all about you and your development. YOUtopia Development. YOUtopia Development. You could go to .com or .xyz. And people ask me, why in the world did you do that .xyz? And I said, the reason why is I'm trying to build bridges between the generations X, Y, and Z. I'm an Xer. So I have to admit, I drank from the water hose, all that fun stuff. I climbed a mountain of glass rocks because there was a glass factory, and we used to climb it in the neighborhood to go get glass rocks. But we were climbing mountains of broken glass. I'm glad to be here telling the story. It's a legit story. Yeah. It's crazy. I look back and I'm like, how am I alive and not sliced and diced? The point is, YOUtopia Development is about you and your development. You and your development as a father. I do dadvocacy coaching. You as a husband, I can do couples integration coaching. I'm a couples integration guide. I give couples a framework to create battle plans to solidify their union. And just as a man, I will help you to be a better man, a better you. And I prefer to do this in groups because I like I said, that lone soldier is a myth. So is the lone wolf. We need each other, guys. I need other guys, like iron sharpening iron. So
absolutely. Well, thanks so much for being on the podcast and the show. It was great to have you. Thank you to everyone who's listening to the Hey Brother podcast. If you guys want to learn more about what I do as a mentor and how I help men become more who it is that they're called to be, you can head over to craftitformore.com. There you can learn more about mentorship, about how I help men find freedom from addiction, help men in their relationships with their wives, and more to that effect, and how we integrate the faith through it all. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week. God bless. Thanks for listening to the Hey Brother podcast. If this episode has been a blessing for you, help us grow by sharing it with a brother who needs it. Visit craftitformore.com for more resources in growing in brotherhood, pursuing chastity, and overcoming addiction. Don't settle for less. Hit subscribe, and let's become the men God has created us to be.